Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Crypto Takeover here, coming back with a Bitcoin video for you. Bitcoin's currently sitting right at around $23,830 or so. So 23, we're fighting some resistance with 24K right now. We're gonna see on the charts if we can break through that or not. Go over a few news articles to start our day off with. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's ready for the holidays and staying safe out there too. And if that sounds interesting, folks, let's go ahead and jump on into these news articles and get started. All right, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way y'all can be updated every single cryptocurrency video that we make on this channel. And we're talking over some news articles right now. Bitcoin tycoon Mike Novogratz breaks down the pandemic accelerated cryptocurrency revolution. Bitcoin bull Mike Novogratz explained two pandemic trends that accelerated the cryptocurrency revolution during the Real Vision interview published Friday. The first, policy response of global pandemic, specifically from the U.S. government, he said, and the second trend, and digitalization of everything. We're going to look back in some weird way. This is going to have been blessing in for cryptocurrency revolution, said Mike Novogratz. So obviously, you know, this is a brand new implementation of technology, and you know, obviously with with what's going on in the world right now, we've been limited to you know, communication and contact with people. So obviously technology was right there in place, ready to take off, and Bitcoin is nonetheless part of that new technology, and so is the new cryptocurrency. So we can kind of notice that how things are shifting right now. Bitcoin will blah 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 corona cryptocurrency revolution during a Real Vision interview. In 5 years from now, we're going to see 2020 as horrible as Corona was, and lots of people have lost their lives. We are going to look back in some weird way. This is going to have been a blessing for cryptocurrency revolution. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, you know, you can always try and find the positive in things, and obviously, you know, if you were hedged in the right markets, and you still have time, obviously, but, you know, we've been talking about this for years, and how the shift was going to take place eventually. We just didn't know how it was going to take place. And now we kind of see exactly what the big overall bigger picture of it is now, you know? And so, yeah, no doubt that this is definitely accelerated the cryptocurrency revolution for sure. The digitalization of everything, Zoom is part of our life now, Novogratz said. This could be a macro story for owning Bitcoin right now. The second trend that propelled cryptocurrencies, the expansion of digital life that may lead to more investors feeling comfortable with the digital wallet. Other investors have also attributed crypto 2020 boom to the macroeconomic backdrop that has developed over the course of the year. Earlier this month, former crypto skeptic Bernstein Research co-head portfolio strategist told clients that the pandemic has changed the policy environment. Debt levels and diversification options for investors have made Bitcoin an attractive asset. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much definitely, we kind of already know how that's kind of pushed forward with the movement of cryptocurrency moving forward. And like I said, we've been talking about this for years. We know this channel has been up for about a year now. I just, you know, started making cryptocurrency videos on this channel about a year ago, but definitely been in the side of the market in the crypto space for well over 3 years. And man, have we seen things just grow and take off. It's been a lovely ride, and I have a lot more data that backs that up, not only just what's going on in the world right now with the pandemic and stuff, but we're also seeing tons of other things behind the scene that are just lining up with our altcoin picks, with Bitcoin, and a lot more on top of that. And if y'all are interested, I actually put a lot of those videos and put a lot of that information that I've collected over the years in our Patreon page too as well. So if you want to join us in our Patreon page and learn a little bit more about some of that information and data that we've collected over the years, just about how cryptocurrency is going to be a new implementation of a lot of different things, then you can definitely check that out too as well. Why does Bitcoin keep going up? Breaking down the reasons that Bitcoin price keeps rising. As of December 16th, Bitcoin has increased about 195% year to date, topping 23,000. But what is driving the meteoric rise? The reason for its appreciation vary, but Bitcoin has grown from what was once considered a scam by many into something that has matured into a valuable investment made by famous billionaire investors, large institutions, and retail investors alike. Why are these investors so bullish on Bitcoin even after its surprise all-time highs? And a lot of these big investors weren't bullish on Bitcoin. Obviously you had your your long-lasting crypto, investors that were 100% bullish on Bitcoin, but a lot of the times, you like I had made a previous video about, some of our other billionaires and millionaires, and continuously just trash Bitcoin, and but they're secretly, obviously accumulating it in the background, just like Peter Schiff. I definitely 100% think that he has Bitcoin, and he has been accumulating, but continuously just talks down on it because they know that this is something that can't be stopped, and that there's only going to be a few people that are going to be able to actually have attainability of this asset too as well. So they're going to want it all for themselves, and that's really just what it is. Inflation is inflation and the lowering purchase power amidst massive stimulus spending is driving people across store value assets, including Bitcoin. Bitcoin mining reward having mechanisms further proves its scarcity and merit of the store value asset. Institutional adoption as both an investment and a service they can provide shows a strong confidence in the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. The infrastructure built around cryptocurrency and Bitcoin has shown immense maturity over recent years, making it easier and far safer to invest than ever balance. So obviously inflation rising. This is our inflation dollar printing, I believe, here, largely due to the stimulus bills. Okay. So as you can see, this chart is definitely showing that we've continued to print money over the past years, and even more the past 5 to 6 years or so. And then what we have here is, I've also been kind of checking this out too, is this is the price index of consumer power consumption of the dollar. I believe that this is our velocity indicator too as well, just showing that there's less money kind of flowing around. People are less likely to spend as of right now too. While there are certain people suffering from the lack of jobs and businesses shutting down, the increase in money supply has significantly long-term implications over the purchasing power of the dollar. The stimulus spending has led many in fear of greater inflation rates, and rightfully so. The hedge against the inflation, investors have sought assets that either maintain value or appreciation. So purchasing power of the dollar has continued to go down. That's what this chart is telling us, and it's just incredible, man. It's just really wild, and we've seen the data that tells us that the dollar is in a steady collapse, and these charts are not lying to you, as you can see. So definitely very interesting. And then why does Bitcoin keep going up? Along with this article, obviously the halvening. We had our halvening take place this past May, and and prices have continued to soar since then. So people are starting to see that supply shock when it comes to crypto and mining too as well. And they're just starting to now figure out, hey, this is something that we can't overlook. It's here to stay, and there's only going to be so many of it, so we need to probably hop on board now. Obviously they show the stock to flow model ratio. So this is a pretty cool article by Investopedia, and Bitcoin treasuries. Let's see who's all in here. So of course you have MicroStrategies, Square, Galaxy Digital, and this just shows how much Bitcoin they actually own. So this is pretty wild. Ruffer Investment Company, I'm not 100% sure who Ruffer is, but obviously MicroStrategy not far below that. And then you have a bunch of different other companies here too as well, just steadily accumulating Bitcoin, as we progress. Bitcoin Trust down here. Bitcoin Trust actually has, I believe, the most, let's see, $546,000. So Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, obviously, they're definitely more of a regulated exchange for investors, so they're going to have to make sure that they hold a lot of Bitcoin too as well. And then the maturity growth, we've already seen it become hard money, and sound money at that. Bitcoin has been around for over a decade now, so that does make it in a variation of sound money. In order to be sound money, you need to be at least a sustainable kind of currency for 10 years, and Bitcoin has proven the test of time. So obviously its maturity growth has grown a substantial amount, and that's another reason that we can say that Bitcoin's here to stay and that it is sound money, just like gold and silver. So a very interesting article. Cool article here. It shows a bunch of different charts too as well, along with the stock to flow model ratio, and our continuous uprise to probably hit 100K, within the next couple of years or so. Here we go, our next Forbes article, and then we'll jump over into the charts here in just a second. We have Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong issuing serious warnings as Bitcoin surges towards $25,000. So as you know, Bitcoin's been pretty overextended as of right now, especially over its weekly 21 EMA that we are probably waiting for a retest back down to soon enough. But, there's no telling when that's actually going to happen. And we're going to try and keep a close eye on the charts just to see if we're expecting maybe a big sell-off anytime soon. So let's take a look here. Bitcoin has surged higher again, soaring the fresh new all-time highs over 24,000 per Bitcoin after beginning the week under $19,000. The Bitcoin price up a staggering 30% this week alone, climbed to 24,200, and the Luxembourg-based Bitstamp Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange before falling back slightly. However, amid this week's huge Bitcoin and cryptocurrency Santa rally, which had added over 100 billion of the value in the world's digital tokens, Coinbase's chief executive Brian Armstrong has warned of over risk of Bitcoin's cryptocurrency investing. What if it is greater? While it's great to see market rallies and new organizations turn attention to emerging assets in new ways, we cannot emphasize how important it is to understand that investing in cryptocurrency is not without risk. Armstrong wrote blog post this week published before the San Francisco-based company revealed its filed confidentiality, a long-term awaited IPO. So as you know, Coinbase is IPOing. They're going to be on the NASDAQ stock exchange too as well when their IPO is released. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to play out, but man, this is just big folks talking down on Bitcoin again. They're not telling you to dollar cost average. They're not telling you to take a look at what other, they're basically just telling you, hey, this is risky. This is risky. Don't get into it. This is too risky. We're overextended. This is too risky. They're not telling you to dollar cost average into this thing because it's going to be around for years and years and years. And so are these other cryptocurrencies. They're just telling you that there's a risk. There's a risk. Don't, make sure you know what you're, and it's just, I get it. But at the same time, if you have the data that we have to back up our facts and to back up our investment decisions, then you would know that this is definitely going to be an asset that's going to be sticking around for a long time. So you need to start dollar cost averaging into it. And that's the best way I can explain it. But obviously, this is not financial advice. And I'm not here to give financial advice either. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And dollar cost averaging is probably the best way to go about this market too as well. And for them to still say, hey, we're at an all-time high, this is a risky asset, but you have the Coinbase's IPO that's being launched here on the NASDAQ too as well. So obviously it's going to be stick around to stay. There's no telling how far we could drop, but we're looking at probably about 35% drop, in the next couple of maybe months or so, when it comes to Bitcoin and its volatility. And I get that. But at the same time, if you're dollar cost averaging into this market, then you don't have anything to really be worried about because, you shouldn't be worried about the risk at hand because you know that it's going to probably go to past its $25,000 mark. And it is what it is. We waited, and 3 years is not that long, folks. Like, we waited 3 years during a bear market. And now we're already past all-time highs. We're surging past all-time highs. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we're in profit. Usually it takes investors up to 10 years to be profitable sometimes, So let's see. Often more times in traditional finance instruments that our investors are used for example, this means the market can move in either direction much faster than equities markets. The Bitcoin price after beginning of the year around 7,000 crashed under 4,000 in March in the coronavirus pandemic. Markets going to meltdown. It quickly rebounded to around $10,000 and began to climb towards a 2017 all-time high in October. The Bitcoin price surge accelerated in recent months. A growing number of high-profile investors name Bitcoin as a potential inflation hedge, as some Wall Street biggest banks changed their tune on the digital token asset. Like all assets, crypto markets will rise and fall over time, Armstrong wrote, pointing to Bitcoin's 2017 bubble that saw the Bitcoin price climb up to under 1,000 at the beginning of the year and around 20,000, only to crash back down to 3,000 in 2018. We'll occasionally see strong market rallies where prices will rise and quickly aggressively, while we're really always excited to see an increase in crypto. It's important to point out that it's not an all-time high volumes, but also price volatility. So yeah, that is not only an all-time high volume, but also, yeah. So of course, I mean, you're gonna have price volatility. It is what it is. It's a market just like anything else. It's a market just like Tesla, or anything else on the stock exchange. But yet you have so much bullish. You have so many people talking about this now, and especially big investors talking about this now, and they're not even giving you, I just can't believe that they would even say that, well, obviously there's a risk. Hey, you know what? The best thing to do is probably what other people are doing right now is they're probably dollar cost average. Hey, and then they could also have a disclaimer down here. This is not financial advice. You know what I'm saying? But they could be like, if you are wanting to invest in any market that you think is going to be bullish in the long term, dollar cost average. So just very interesting stuff here. But obviously this is the Forbes article. And a lot of mainstream people are going to be looking at Forbes too as well. And so we just got to be weary of some of this news that comes out here too as well. And there's also been a lot of the regulatory issues coming out this past couple of days, but yet we've still seen prices surge with Bitcoin too as well, holding support. And we're going to jump on over into the charts here. So folks, let's take a look at this to start our session off with. So let's move this over here. Boom. All right, we were taking a look at a few different coins here, just keeping our eye on Bitcoin and also XRP. We'll jump over into that in just a second. Let's take a look at Bitcoin to start us off with too as well. So you can see I've been keeping a close eye on some of our trend lines here when it comes to Bitcoin. Really just kind of finding our trades in and out of this market as of right now. And also, if you're interested, we use the Market Cipher indicator by CryptoFace on this channel. So if you would like to use or purchase Market Cipher, you can check the links in the description box below. CryptoFace has been a big supporter of this channel too as well, and I appreciate everything that he's done for us too. So go out there, support our channel by clicking the links in the description box below if you want to pick up Market Cipher. It's a great indicator package. We use it daily in more than that, minute by minute pretty much too. And so it's a great indicator package, and you're going to be definitely getting what you put your money into. So taking a look here on the lower time frames, we're starting to see a little bit of recovery with our money flow. And then as we start to zoom out on our mid time frames too, we have a 21 EMA finding support at about 22,900 would probably be a good roundabout number if we are to come back down and retest or continue off sideways here. Yeah, and we could definitely see a nice little sideways correction pattern that plays out here. Our money flow still looks really, really good here. We're getting a nice little green dot here on our 4 hour too as well. Taking a look at our 2 hour, we're finding support here on our 21 EMA. So I'd be looking at the 2 hour here for finding support on our 21 EMA and continuing our uptrend. 21 EMA on our 2 hour sitting right at about 23,400 or so. And right now we're sitting at 23,800. So we're definitely finding a little bit of bounce here on the 2 hour time frame with our 21 EMA. Zooming out here on our 6 hour, no sign of green dots just yet. But I would definitely imagine that our lower time frames are already starting to give us some of those green dots, so we could possibly see something like that. And then if we start to zoom out here, VWAP still kind of moving sideways for the most part. Momentum wave does look like it's kind of ready to kind of round off, but we are still seeing some sideways movement here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a green dot and continue some possible uptrend here too as well. Taking a look at the daily, obviously possibly a red dot, but it does look like it wants to kind of extend out for the most part. And if we are to continue up here, I'd expect probably a nice little Christmas tree pattern like we've been doing back here too as well. And these Christmas tree patterns end up playing out bullish, and really bullish. We get a red dot, and then we'll come down just a tad bit, and then we'll get a nice green spike to the upside too as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do that same thing. Our money flow is still holding us afloat as of right now. It doesn't look like Bitcoin's probably ready. It doesn't look like it's probably ready for the retrace just yet. But we can also be cautious. We can say, all right, well, if we are to retrace, we would definitely want to see some of these lower trend lines break first, such as our 21 EMA on our mid time frames, and then we could possibly be seeing some of those bigger corrections to come in the near term future too as well. So this is our Bitcoin chart here. Let's take a look at, and obviously our higher time frames are still showing us a lot of bullish momentum. Green dots here on these higher time frames doesn't look like it wants to slow down just yet. I think we have a green dot No green dot on the weekly just yet, but our 6-day is giving us a green dot too as well. So we're really just going to have to be patient here. If we get a sideways movement for the next couple of days or so, yeah, that's a possibility, but our money flow is still keeping us very, very much afloat as of right now, and we could be seeing that next big move to the upside too as well. But obviously if we correct down, we're going to be watching for our 2-hour 21 EMA. If we break below that, we'll keep a close eye on our 4-hour 21 EMA and then move from there. So just a heads up, either what to look for if we start to move down, or what to look for if we start moving up too as well. So we'll be keeping a close eye on those charts too as well. Looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we've been keeping a close eye on the dominance chart too as well. Taking a look at the daily here, daily just blasting off here. Although we could possibly see another little red dot here on our 2-day, on our daily, our 2-day still looking like it's ready to continue to the upside here. You can even see price or percentage movement on our 2-day chart here. So obviously Bitcoin may be ready to make some moves here in the near term future. But yeah, money flow is also moving into that greenish territory. Let's take a look at our 3-day, see what's happening here. Woo, 3 days going to be ready to come up and test this trend line here in the near term future. 68%, definitely not out. It's definitely in the works, but it could take us going into next week to get to that new higher percentage mark there too as well. And then if we are to break through that, which is definitely a possibility, we kind of already have somewhat of an inverse head and shoulders forming here for us, and then we're going to be looking for a big possible move to the upside here with our dominance chart. And yeah, that just, man, it just looks like Bitcoin is probably ready to continue to make some big moves here. Take us all the way up to like 80% dominance, but I would imagine these altcoins are going to be moving right along with it, so I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of stay stagnant here. We find some rejection at this 68% level, kind of move sideways, and we could possibly break through it. I have no doubt that Bitcoin could possibly break through it as our altcoins kind of settle off. I think what's going to happen with the alts, it's only going to be a few alts that take off first, and then as we start to progress into 2021, we're going to start to see some of our other alts take off too as well. So taking a look at the DXY chart, let's move on into our daily chart here. Still seeing that nice rejection there. We're getting some yellow X's too to signify that possibly some money printing is going on here, and that we're going to continue to be a little bit bearish for the most part. Money flow is still sitting in that red area too as well. So people are fleeing the dollar, as we can see. Yeah, just even our weekly chart, our weekly chart just looks horrible. So and I don't even want to see our monthly chart. Our monthly chart, oof. Oh man, this is gonna get bad. This is gonna get really bad, folks. Money flows rounding off here. No sign of a green dot just yet. We'll probably come down here and put in a big green dot first, and then we'll just continue out putting in probably Christmas tree patterns down here once we break below our 80% mark on market Cipher B. And then we'll probably get these EMAs crossing too as well as we continue to kind of sell off. Man, yeah. And we're probably gonna move all the way back to that 2008 level as well. That's definitely kind of what it's looking like. We do have a trend line down here sitting right at about 80 cents or so. Yeah, that definitely could be in the works for going on into next year. So I have no doubt that going into next year, we'll probably get this 80 cents for the dollar. Man, that just looks crazy. So we'll take a look at ETH really quick and just see where we're at with ETH. Taking a look at some of our altcoin charts here. Let's go into our 12 hours, see what's happening here. All right, we'll keep a close eye on our daily chart. I did look like I had a trend line drawn out here. And this was probably a good trade setup that I drew out for our Patreon members. So if you also want to get trade setups, we offer that in our Patreon pages too, in our Patreon page as well too. Once you join, just make sure you send me your Discord username, and I'll provide you either a link or I'll give you access to our private category on Discord, so that way you can get all of our trade setups too as well. So you want to make sure you have Discord if you join our Patreon page. But yeah, definitely we had a nice break here on this trend line, and we continue to the upside here. And then taking a look at the daily, we've been seeing a nice bullish push up to the top here, and we're waiting to get support back up above this purple trend line. So yeah, we're definitely looking to find support here. It does look like we are getting rejected, but like I said, we're going to probably bounce between our 21 EMA and this purple trend line maybe for the next couple of months or so. or we see a big push up. Money flow still looks relatively good. Probably expecting a nice bounce here though. That's what I'm probably anticipating, a bounce, given our green dot here. We could see another little bounce to probably get us back up to 670 or so, and then maybe 700. If we're lucky, we'll get to 700, but or close. Probably, I would say probably about 670, 680. That's what we're looking at with Ethereum. All right, folks, we're going on 25 minutes here. This is gonna kind of drag the video on, so I don't want to be I don't want to ramble too much more, but yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at with Bitcoin and some of the altcoins there too as well. If y'all want to join the Patreon page, don't forget to check the links in the description box below, so that way y'all can be informed when we make our trades and other data that we have to back us up on our investment decisions. And shout out to Dave, Kim, Jasmine, Crypto Rex, Leo, Sparky, Johnny 20, William, Quentin Hishin, Ben, Eric Huell, Samuel Crane, Tall Troy, Tim Luna, Exin, Sean Stein, Greg, Haru Yor, Pike379, Paul A. Keller. Thanks for being Patreon members, folks. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your participation inside of our Patreon page too as well. And so with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out the links in the description box below if you want to help support the channel, or you can just leave a thumbs up or comment something creative down below, and I would highly appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one, boys and gals. CTO signing out. Peace.